In 1315, the House of Habsburg launched a campaign to restore order in Central Europe. They advanced into the mountains with a force clad in heavy armor, knights, war horses, banners flying, and confidence as heavy as metal. In their eyes, this was nothing more than a simple suppression, no force strong enough to resist, no army daring to block their path. But on the mist-covered mountain slopes, there were people who did not look like an army. No shining helmets, no noble titles, no ornate armor. Only a deep knowledge of the land and a unity that refused to bend. Then the moment arrived. A single shout rang out. Rocks and earth collapsed from the mountainside. Massive stones slammed into the compressed column. Logs rolled down, shattering the march. Horses panicked, rearing in terror. The formation broke in seconds. Knights were ripped from their saddles, their heavy armor pinning them to the ground. Cries were swallowed by the clash of metal. What was meant to be a show of intimidation turned into a battlefield of confusion in a way no one had expected. And within only a few hours, an army once believed to be unstoppable was shattered among the mountains. This was Morgarten. To understand Morgarten, you must first understand one simple question: who believes they own the land and who refuses to accept that belief? This story takes place in what is now central Switzerland. In the year 1315, this area is not a country. It is a rugged mountain region made up of narrow valleys, deep forests, and dangerous alpine passes. Three of those valleys are central to this story: Uri, Schwyz, and Unterwalden. Today, they are part of Switzerland. In the early 1300s, they are small rural communities. These valleys may look poor at first glance: few towns, no great castles, no wealthy courts, but their location makes them valuable. They sit on routes that cross the Alps. Anyone moving goods, armies, or money through the mountains must pass near them. Control the roads, and you control trade. Control the courts, and you control daily life. For generations, Uri, Schwyz, and Unterwalden have governed themselves. They choose local judges. They regulate their own roads and tolls. They answer directly to the Holy Roman Emperor, not to nearby nobles. And this is the key point. By tradition and imperial law, they are not supposed to belong to any regional lord, but nearby, a powerful noble family does not accept the situation. The House of Habsburg controls large territories in what is now Austria and surrounding regions. They are wealthy, well-connected, militarily respected. To the Habsburgs, power should be clear and orderly. Land near their borders should answer to them. Roads should pay tolls to them. Judges should be appointed by them. From their perspective, the mountain valleys are an error in the system. They lie inside Habsburg influence, but outside Habsburg control. This creates a fundamental conflict. The Habsburgs believe these lands should answer to us. We should appoint the judges. We should collect the tolls. The valleys believe we have lived free for generations. No local lord has the right to rule us. At first, the Habsburgs do not attack. They apply pressure. They send officials into the valleys. They challenge decisions made by local courts. They question land ownership and old privileges. Each step seems small. Each step seems legal. But each step takes away a piece of local independence. To the Habsburgs, this is administration. To the valleys, it feels like slow occupation. Tension grows year after year. The situation finally explodes when a dispute breaks out involving Schwyz and the Abbey of Einsiedeln, a powerful religious institution supported by Habsburg interests. The dispute centers on land and legal authority. On paper, it looks like a local disagreement. In reality, it is about who has the right to rule. This dispute gives the Habsburgs what they need: a public excuse. They declare the mountain communities lawless, disobedient, a threat to order and stability. With that claim, military action becomes acceptable. The man chosen to enforce Habsburg authority is Duke Leopold I of Austria. Leopold does not prepare for negotiation. He prepares for intimidation. He gathers an army designed to impress before it even fights. Armored knights in full equipment, well-trained supporting troops, banners flying, armor shining. This is a force built to look unstoppable, a force meant to remind everyone who holds real power. Leopold's plan is direct and confident. March through the mountain routes, enter the valleys, break resistance before it fully forms. He does not expect a battle, he expects submission. But the valleys understand something Leopold does not. If Habsburg control is imposed, their self-rule ends forever. Their judges will be replaced. Their land decisions will be taken away. Their communities will become subjects. So Uri, Schwyz, and Unterwalden do not prepare for negotiation either. They prepare for defense. They know they cannot defeat knights on open ground. They know they cannot match armor with armor, but they know the mountains. They know where roads narrow. They know where horses lose their strength. They know where a marching column becomes vulnerable. As Leopold's army prepares to move, the valleys prepare to choose the battlefield. They are not planning to win glory. They are planning to survive. And that quiet decision, made high in the mountains, leads directly to Morgarten. The campaign begins with movement. At first light, the Habsburg army starts to march. It is a large force by the standards of the time. Several thousand men, a corps of armored knights, hundreds of horses, foot soldiers, retainers, and support troops stretching the column far down the road. At the head rides Duke Leopold I of Austria. From his position, the march looks impressive. Banners are raised. Armor reflects the morning light. The sound of metal, hooves, and voices fills the valley. This is not an army trying to hide. It is an army meant to be seen. Leopold's intention is clear. Show strength, move quickly, arrive as a force no one would dare resist. The column moves in marching order, not battle order. Knights and mounted men lead the way. Foot soldiers follow in long lines. Supply wagons and camp equipment trail behind. The formation is powerful but stretched. Long, heavy, difficult to turn once it is moving. And no one seems worried. From Leopold's perspective, there is no enemy army to face. Only mountain communities that will submit once this force appears. As the Habsburg army advances deeper into the highlands, another preparation is already underway. High above the roads, out of sight, the defenders are gathering. The men of Uri, Schwyz, and Unterwalden assemble before the Habsburg column ever reaches them. They do not gather in one mass. They move in small groups, quietly, using forest paths and slopes they have known since childhood. They are led by local commanders chosen for experience, not rank. Men who understand one crucial fact. They cannot defeat this army by meeting it head-on. So their plan is built around one idea. Do not fight the army, break the march. Days before the Habsburg movement begins, these commanders study the routes. They walk the roads. They watch how wagons move. They observe where horses slow on uneven ground. They look for one thing above all else, a place where the army must compress. They find it along a narrow mountain route near Lake Egery. Here, the road is trapped between water and rising ground. Here, a wide formation becomes impossible. Here, a long column cannot turn or redeploy quickly. Once this place is chosen, preparation becomes precise. The ambush force is divided into clear roles. At the highest points above the road, strong men prepare heavy objects. Large stones are loosened. Logs are positioned so gravity will carry them downward. These men are instructed to wait, not to fight. Below them, closer to the road, fighters with long weapons take position. Halberds, spears, hooks. Their task is not to charge, but to pull riders down, to stop forward movement, and to keep fallen men from standing again. Further along the slope, reserve groups wait. Their job is to close the corridor once the attack begins, to block escape, to prevent any regrouping. Every man is told where to stand. Every man is told when to act. No one moves without the signal. Timing matters more than numbers. The plan is simple, but unforgiving. Let the Habsburg army enter the narrow stretch. Let the front move ahead. Let the center compress under its own weight. Only when the column is fully committed, when turning back creates as much danger as moving forward, will the attack begin. Down below, the Habsburg army continues its march. The sound of hooves echoes through the valley. Armor clinks, banners sway. Leopold sees only progress, only momentum. Above him, the defenders wait. They are not nervous. They are not rushing. They know that once the signal is given, the strength of the Habsburg army will work against itself, and the mountain will decide the rest. Late in the morning, the Habsburg army reaches the most dangerous part of the route. The road now runs tightly between the lake and the mountain slope. There is no open space, no field to deploy, only a narrow passage that forces the entire army into a single line of movement. The column does not stop. At the front rides Duke Leopold I of Austria. He sees the road narrow, but he does not slow the march. To him, this is difficult terrain, not hostile ground. The army continues forward exactly as planned. At the narrowest points, knights are forced into 1 or 2 men across. Behind them, infantry, mounted retainers, and supply troops pile in tightly. The column stretches far behind, but here, near the lake, it becomes thick and heavy. Men are close enough to touch each other. Horses walk carefully, their heads low. Armor scrapes against armor. The sound of movement fills the passage. Hooves on stone, metal shifting. Orders spoken calmly without urgency. There is still no sign of an enemy. This is the final condition the defenders have been waiting for. Above the road, the ambush force watches in silence. They see the front of the column pass through the narrow stretch. They see the center move into position. They see the rear continuing to feed men forward, increasing the pressure. The entire Habsburg army is now locked into the terrain. Only then does the attack begin. The first strike comes from above. Several large rocks are released at once. They fall, bounce, and shatter as they hit the road. One smashes into the lead horses. Another crashes among the infantry just behind them. A horse collapses sideways. Its body blocks the passage completely. Movement stops at the front, but the men behind do not know this yet. They continue to push forward, following the rhythm of the march. Within seconds, the center of the column compresses violently. Shouts rise, not commands. Questions? Before officers can understand what is happening, the second wave hits. Heavy logs roll down the slope, gaining speed as they descend. They strike shields, knock men off balance, and send horses into panic. Several horses rear and crash into each other. One falls, then another. The road is now choked. At this moment, the defenders move in. They do not rush all at once. They descend in small, coordinated groups. Their targets are clear. They strike horses first. They pull riders sideways using hooks and halberds. They attack legs, not armor. A knight is dragged from his saddle and slams onto the stone road. In heavy armor, he cannot rise. Another rider loses control when his horse is struck. The animal falls, crushing men beneath it. Each fallen body becomes an obstacle. Each obstacle tightens the trap. Inside the column, panic spreads rapidly. Men in the front cannot move forward. Men in the rear continue to push, unaware that the road is blocked. Those in the center are squeezed between them. Commands are shouted, but they break apart in the noise. The sound of battle echoes violently between water and stone. It is impossible to tell where danger is coming from. Knights try to turn their horses. There is no room. Infantry attempt to pull back. They are shoved forward by pressure from behind. The army loses its shape. What was once an organized column becomes a series of isolated struggles. Some men try to climb the slope, slipping on loose soil and roots. Others are forced sideways toward the lake. In heavy armor, balance is fragile. A misstep is enough. Several soldiers fall into the water. The weight of their gear drags them under almost instantly. The sight is terrifying. Now the panic becomes total. Men throw down shields. Some cut loose their weapons. Anything that might slow them is abandoned. The defenders do not chase wildly. They stay close. They keep pressure on the trapped sections of the road. Their goal is not slaughter, it is collapse. Within minutes, the Habsburg army is no longer fighting as an army. It is a mass of individuals reacting to fear, noise, and pressure. By the time Leopold understands that this is a coordinated ambush, not a local disturbance, the damage is already done. The terrain has done its work, the march has been destroyed, and Morgarten has turned from a show of power into a fight for survival. Once the formation is broken, there is no way to restore it. What remains of the Habsburg army is scattered along the road in disconnected groups. Some are still fighting. Most are no longer thinking about battle. They are thinking about escape. The narrow passage offers no clear direction. Forward is blocked. The slope is unstable. The lake is deadly. Men begin to move without orders. Some try to push uphill, scrambling through trees and loose ground. They slip. They fall. Those in heavy armor cannot climb fast enough. Others turn back along the road, forcing their way through wounded men and fallen horses. Shields are abandoned, weapons are dropped. Anything that slows movement is left behind. The retreat does not happen all at once. It spreads unevenly, starting from the center of the column and moving outward. Officers attempt to regain control. They shout commands. They try to rally small groups. But the terrain defeats them. There is no space to regroup, no open ground to form ranks, no clear line of sight. Fear moves faster than authority. As the pressure eases in some sections, survivors begin to pull away from the pass. They do not stop to check who follows. They do not wait for orders. They run until the sound of combat fades behind them. Near the front of the column, Duke Leopold I of Austria finally understands the scale of the disaster. This is not a setback. This is not a temporary disruption. The army cannot continue. It cannot turn the situation around. Remaining in the pass will only mean more losses. The decision to withdraw is made out of necessity, not strategy. Signals are sent where possible. Messengers attempt to spread the order, but the retreat is already underway. What follows is not an organized withdrawal. It is a slow, painful extraction of what remains of the force. Only after the army clears the narrow ground does it begin to reform in fragments. Small groups gather. Wounded men are carried or left behind. The scale of loss becomes visible. Armor lies abandoned on the road. Broken weapons scatter the path. The lake surface is disturbed where men and horses disappeared. By early afternoon, the fighting has stopped. The mountain is quiet again. The defenders do not pursue. They remain on the heights, watching the survivors retreat from the valleys. They do not chase glory. They do not seek further bloodshed. Their objective has already been achieved. The Habsburg army has been forced out. Morgarten does not end with a final charge or a dramatic stand. It ends with silence. A silence broken only by the realization that a powerful army has been defeated, not by strength alone, but by preparation, terrain, and timing. The battle at Morgarten ends within hours, but its impact lasts far longer. News spreads quickly across the Holy Roman Empire. A powerful Habsburg force, led by armored knights, has been defeated by mountain communities. This result shocks Europe. For centuries, heavy cavalry has been seen as unstoppable. Knights represent power, order, and authority. At Morgarten, that belief collapses. The defeat is not caused by inferior skill or bad luck. It is caused by terrain, preparation, and timing. Armor becomes a burden. Numbers become pressure. Movement becomes impossible. For the Habsburgs, the campaign is a failure. Their authority in the mountain regions is weakened. Future expansion must be reconsidered. For Uri, Schwitz, and Unterwalden, the outcome is decisive. They have defended their independence, not through negotiation, but through coordinated action and discipline. In the years that follow, these communities strengthen their alliance. They commit to mutual defense. They protect the mountain routes together. What begins as local resistance becomes the foundation of a confederation. Morgarten is remembered not for its size, but for what it proves. That power based only on intimidation can fail. That preparation can overcome prestige, and that the landscape itself can decide history. The battlefield returns to silence. The road is used again. The lake becomes calm, but the lesson remains. Morgarten is not the story of heroic charges. It is the story of understanding where to stand, when to wait, and when to strike. And that is why it still matters.